Racial Stereotypes in the NFL, the quarterback position, by Robert Cottingham. The NFL has had a long standing history of racial discrimination, whether it was against the players, coaches, management, and even all the way up to the ownership. At its earlier stages, the NFL wouldn't even consider African Americans for the starting quarterback position. When looking for quarterbacks, the NFL used to add race into their equation, in which they would withhold opportunities from African American players. The NFL owners and management both had very specific standards that a person would need to meet in order to hold the position of the quarterback. The NFL usually landed white men who they regarded as high IQ and with good leadership traits, which are characteristics that modern day America doesn't often associate with African American men nearly as much as they do with white men. Nearly all of the NFL's poster child quarterbacks up until just recently have been white. These include Peyton Manning, Steve Young, and Tom Brady. Although all three of these quarterbacks have had high performance output in the league, they are still regarded as some of the best, even though there are other quarterbacks used with the African American background that get left off this list. The history of the African American quarterback. The first African American quarterback to start in the game in the NFL was Willie Thrower, and he started in 1953, which was 33 years after the league had begun. Willie Thrower, playing for the Chicago Bears at the time, was not the first choice at quarterback, but after injury of the starting quarterback, Thrower was pushed into the position in which he only played one game. Before Thrower, the idea of the African American man holding the quarterback position was often looked at as a pipe dream. Thrower opened the door for a lot of young black athletes to realize their dream of being the leading position on a team as possible. However, there are still multiple stereotypes that stand in their way. Even though the league has made tremendous strides for equality at all positions in the game, there are all still examples of African American quarterbacks being treated unfairly. One such example of this is widely known and controversial story of Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick, having multiple successful seasons as a starting quarterback in the NFL, decided to use his large platform to speak out against racism and law enforcement by kneeling for the national anthem. This caused outrage in the public, which eventually led to Kaepernick getting cut from his team to never even making an official comeback as a quarterback, even though it was clear he still had sufficient skills to be a player in the league. The story of Colin Kaepernick really shows that there are still discrepancies in the way African American quarterbacks are treated. African American quarterbacks often feel forced to act and present themselves in certain ways that forces them to not be themselves, in which they feel left out and they leave their culture out of the way that they perform and act. Another example of this is Lamar Jackson. Despite being one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Jackson still faces multiple types of scrutiny in the way that he plays the game. One reporter stated that Jackson had an unfair on-field advantage due to the color of his skin, making it more difficult for opposing players to see the ball. Jackson has also faced criticism from the time he entered the league, with many in the media calling for Jackson to play a different position because he didn't have the arm strength or IQ to play the quarterback's position. However, this is obviously not the case, with Jackson having multiple MVP, not multiple, but having MVP caliber seasons in which he took his team to the playoffs. Even though he has defied all of his criticisms, Jackson is still finding trouble renegotiating his contracts to be fairly played, as the owners of certain teams still don't feel his performance, which included an MVP season, has guaranteed him a max contract. But as I stated earlier, the league has made tremendous strides when it comes to racially profiling for the quarterback position. The African American quarterback rate is at an all-time high, with 2 black quarterbacks playing in the Super Bowl this past year, and 3 of the top 5 quarterbacks, the highest paid quarterbacks, being African American. More opportunities are being given to these African American quarterbacks as they feel that they have the chance to do more in today's league. The sooner that the league addresses the negative stereotypes that are still associated with the quarterback position, the sooner it will be able to put the best players on the field with the chances to succeed. Here's a picture of Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, who were the two African American quarterbacks starting in the Super Bowl this year, which brought a lot of media output into it, as this was the first combination to do so in a Super Bowl. Here's just a couple different articles to read that really bring out and really shed light on the stereotypes that are still present in today's NFL for the quarterback position. Thank you.